It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. King Buddha, it's never too late to awake you. King Buddha, it's never too late for mistake to. King Buddha, it's never too late to awake you. King Buddha, it's never too late for mistake to. King Buddha, shut up or shut up. King Buddha, shut up or shut up.
What it do, chat? Welcome to today's episode. It's your boy, King Buddha, aka Chi from the Chi Challenge, guys. And welcome to this episode of the Chi Challenge. Today, we will be covering some real crazy news. Yesterday, I was on YouTube, and Jesus Christ, the things that I've been watching, Jesus Christ. Academics gets backdoored by Kai Cenat's goon. What the fuck? He calls out little baby to fight. Chat, there's a lot to watch. Not only that, but Pop Smoke's killer got beat up in New York. So there's a lot to talk about, chat. We got to catch up on a lot of stuff, chat. So let's start with the Pop Smoke situation, guys.
Names in the business like Nicki Minaj and 50 Cent. His murder has stunned fans everywhere.
Everybody's talking about it. Police say suspects broke into his home and shot.
Pop Smoke's killer is making headlines again, and not for the right reasons. Word on the streets is that he got caught slipping by some New York goons.
What do you think about that, chat? What do you think about that, chat? I'm not the type of person that celebrates retribution or the type of person that applauds vigilante justice. But however, this is the same guy that was on video saying on Adam 22 saying that he did not care about what happened to Pop Smoke. He is not sorry. So when you're allowed to make mistakes in life. I believe that you're allowed to do things, and at some point in time, you're going to realize that you were not right. You're going to have to apologize and give the world the opportunity to see your point of view. But when you are clearly saying that you don't care, you're unapologetic about the situation, then friends and families, this guy is what you call a green light.
And this ain't just any random dude. This is the same one who dodged a life sentence because,
as you can see right here, he dodged a life sentence. He didn't even pay for his crime. And he is, as you can see, this is Adam 22. This is no jumper
he was
that he's
too
at.
young when the whole thing went down. For months, he's been wilding online, trolling Pop Smoke's name, dropping slick disses, and even popping up on podcasts talking about the case like he was untouchable. But that confidence didn't last long. Once word started spreading through the streets, things got real. And if that wasn't crazy enough, what later happened to the brother of one of the other shooters took this story to a whole new level.
I mean, I don't know exactly like what you're going to be comfortable talking about, but everybody keeps saying that you were the trigger man. Is that accurate?
Next question.
Can't talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Why did he end up getting shot anyway? Like, why? Especially
I don't feel like the drugs was part of the situation. I just feel like, I don't know, we was just kids. Being kids from the hood. Too much movement. That's all, too much movement.
He was reportedly found on a beach inside a barrel.
I don't think so.
That's straight up movie stuff. It all sounds unreal,
No, I don't think so.
but everybody's talking about it right now.
Yeah,
Let's run it back for the ones who might not know how this all started. February 19th, 2020. That's the day the rap game lost Pop Smoke, one of Brooklyn's brightest stars. He was only 20 years old when he got killed during a home invasion in the Hollywood Hills.
That's so
It was a
sad.
tragedy that hit deep.
Over
Pop
some
was right on the
kids.
edge of superstar.
Like kids.
Just like that, his story was cut short. 5 people got arrested in connection to his murder. Most of them just teenagers, still kids trying to pull off what they thought was an easy hit. But one of them, the one everybody said pulled the trigger, was only 15 at the time. Since he was a minor, he couldn't be sentenced to life. When he confessed in juvenile court, he got sent to a youth facility until he turned 25, and that was it. No real punishment to match the weight of what he did. People
That
were
is so sad,
furious,
Chad.
saying
Like,
it
how
didn't
the
feel
fuck
like justice.
he just
Fast
walked
forward,
out?
he's out now.
How?
And that's when things started getting wild.
How does he just walk? Because he's a juvenile. And now he running around doing interviews trying to be famous, clout chasing off of that. Now he's an adult. And there's New York motherfuckers, they're not gonna let that one slide. You feel me? New York motherfuckers, that is not gonna let that shit slide. I'm telling you, Chad. They not.
Again. This dude really thought he could just walk back into the streets like nothing happened. He acted like his little juvenile stretch meant the slate was clean, like it was all behind him. But nah, New York doesn't forget, and the streets don't forget. People are watching, waiting. It didn't take long for someone to step up and remind him of that.
How would you describe
New York
what
never
was going
forgets.
on that night? Maybe even just like take us through the day if you want.
Well, I'm not finna get into detail about too much, but it was a robbery. Nobody nobody did none of that. That's all false information. It's a lot of pages that's like giving out false information, YouTube, like the vlog, false. Like
Come
they don't
on.
know nothing y'all
Come
talking about.
on.
Y'all just assuming and y'all just putting shit together as y'all going around.
But before diving deeper into what happened to him, let's take a second to remember why
No.
Pop Smoke's death hit so hard. This wasn't just another rapper gone too soon.
No.
Pop Smoke was changing the sound of New York hip-hop. He put Brooklyn drill on the map in a way no one else had done before. Songs like Welcome to the Party, Dior, and For the Night weren't just tracks, they were citywide anthems that had every block turned up. His voice had that deep, raw tone you could recognize instantly. His energy, his confidence, his presence, it all screamed superstar. He had the kind of star power that made major artists want to.
And this is why clout chasing shit like that, like trying to hurt somebody, take somebody's life, just because you just wanna be popping. That's crazy, yo. That's a disconnect with reality that we need to fucking address for real. That's too out of control. And to think that you was gonna walk around New York thinking that, bro, you need to find a plastic surgeon to give you a new face.
Work with him. Travis Scott, Nicki Minaj, Quavo, everybody wanted to be a part of his wave. And the craziest part? He was just getting started. When his album Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon dropped after his passing, it went straight to #1 and stayed on the charts for weeks. That's how strong his impact was. Fans weren't just mourning another rapper, they were mourning a once-in-a-generation artist who never got the chance to reach his full potential. So when his killer walked free and started acting reckless, talking about the murder like it was no big deal, it rubbed people the wrong way. And now, with the streets reportedly catching up to him, this story just got darker and more twisted than anyone could have imagined. You gotta understand just how deep the disrespect runs here. This isn't about one dude talking slick. This is about a slap in the face to an entire city, an entire culture, and millions of fans who still blast Pop Smoke's music every day. The nerve is unreal. So this dude gets out, and instead of laying low, instead of showing an ounce of remorse or even trying to disappear from the spotlight, he does the total opposite. He jumps on podcasts, doing full-blown interviews like he's some kind of celebrity, casually talking about the same night he took Pop Smoke's life. The disrespect is off the charts.
Like the way they bring up the situation and they be saying like rest in peace to them, they be disrespectful themselves. They be like I don't know. I just feel like if that was my boy and they're posting them and speaking on a situation like that, like I feel like you my op too.
What's the disrespectful part?
Let me break it down for you, because it's wild. In one interview, the host starts asking about that night, trying to figure out if it was a planned hit or just a robbery gone wrong. And this man, with zero emotion, zero guilt, says it was a robbery. Nobody sent us there. Nobody did none of that. That's all false information. It's a lot of pages that's like giving out false information on YouTube. They don't know nothing. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all just assuming, and y'all just putting together as y'all going around. Like, what? This dude is talking about the murder of one of New York's most loved artists like he's discussing what he ate for breakfast. No remorse, no emotion, just straight monotone confidence like none of it matters. He's out here trying to set the record straight like he's some kind of historian, not the one responsible for taking a life.
They'd be putting it together with like saying that there was, a bag with an address that was posted online. There was a photo of him and his friend where you can see the address in the background. Is a lot of that not true? It's just people putting shit together after the fact?
Oh, that part I can't speak about because I don't know how the address got. I don't know that part. So I can't even speak on that. I'm not finna share a lie to nobody.
And believe it or not, it gets worse, way worse. The interviewer brings up how people on YouTube and other platforms have covered the case, and this kid actually says the way they bring up the situation and they be saying like, rest in peace to him, they be disrespectful. I don't know, I just feel like if that was my boy and they're posting him and speaking on a situation like that, I feel like you my op too. You hearing this? The man who took Pop Smoke's life is calling other people disrespectful for talking about Pop's death. The audacity is insane. The lack of self-awareness, straight up unbelievable. And it doesn't stop there. When the interviewer tries to dig into how they even found Pop's address, you remember how people said Pop's friend Mike D posted a photo outside the house, and there was that gift bag with the address showing in the background. The kid suddenly switches up and says, that part I can't speak about because I don't know how the address got found. I don't know. I'm not gonna say a lie to nobody.
Of him, I probably seen one picture of him before and I thought he was a model. I was like, well, he got a good modeling career going on. I thought he was just on that route, but then all this happened, I'm like.
So he plays dumb, right?
He
But
definitely
then
playing
out of
dumb.
nowhere, he
Who
starts
didn't know
saying
who Pop
wild
Smoke
stuff
was?
like,
Pop Smoke
I
was
didn't
like
know him at
talking
all.
about ketchup.
I didn't know of
Everybody
him.
knows what
I
ketchup
probably
is.
seen one picture of him before, and I thought he was a model. I was like, he got a good modeling career going on. A model? Bro, he really said he thought Pop Smoke was a model.
Now I know
He
he's
didn't even
faking.
realize he was one of the
Now I
hottest
know he's
rappers in
faking.
the entire
He's
game
faking
at
that.
that time.
He's faking.
The same guy whose songs were shaking clubs, radio, and the whole city. And this kid claims he didn't even know who he was. Unreal. And then he keeps talking, saying things that make it even twisted. All of this happened. I'm like, I wake up in the morning, I don't wake up. I didn't go to sleep. I'm just like, damn, I'm just lost. Lost? You take someone's life, one of the biggest rising stars in hip-hop, and the only thing you can say is you feel lost? That's your version of remorse? That's your accountability? It's mind-blowing how detached he sounds, like he's telling a random story instead of confessing to something that changed lives forever. But it doesn't end there, not even close. As the interview goes on, the host straight up asks him, point blank, were you the trigger man? And what this kid says next, man, that's where things go from shocking to downright disturbing. Next question? That's not a denial, bro. That's basically a low-key confirmation dressed up to sound smart legally. He knows he can't admit it on camera. That would be straight up dumb. But he also doesn't deny it. He just glides past the question like it's some awkward topic at a family dinner he don't want to talk about.
I don't even wake up, I didn't go to sleep, I'm just like, damn, I'm just lost.
Then he starts talking about that night, and somehow every new detail just makes the whole thing sound worse. He goes, nobody was intended to get hurt. Nobody was intended to get hurt that night. But literally seconds later, he flips it, saying there was too much movement going on. Like what? The interviewer presses him, trying to figure out what he means, and he starts rambling about movement from Pop Smoke, movement from everybody in the house, too much going on. It wasn't intentionally. We wasn't on that. That sounds messy. So now we're all sitting here wondering, which story is real? Was it just a mistake, or did things spiral because of all that movement? Those are two totally different explanations. And the way he's just switching between them, talking about a man losing his life like it's just another story, that's what made people furious. Then out of nowhere, he drops something wild. He admits he was high that night. Straight up says, I was off a perk, so I wasn't really fully aware of anything.
Everybody keeps saying that you were the trigger man. Is that accurate?
Next question.
What? You mean to tell us you went out to hit a lick while you were high off pills, not even in your right mind, and then something tragic happens? And now that's your excuse? Like that somehow makes it all sound better? People couldn't believe he said that. The interviewer tries to see if this was something they'd done before, maybe not their first time running a robbery. But instead of denying it, He just says, "Next question." No defense, no explanation, just dodging. And honestly, that silence says it all. They'd probably done this before, feeling untouchable, thinking they could keep robbing people without ever facing consequences. Then the interviewer brings up the backdoor rumors, the talk that maybe someone close to Pop Smoke helped set him up, and suddenly, he gets defensive fast. He snaps, "Nobody backdoored nobody. I know that 100% for sure. Nobody backdoored nobody. That female, I can't speak too much on it, but she don't know what she's talking about at all." Now everyone's side-eyeing that response, because if you really know the truth, why sound so nervous?
Much movement. That's all. Too much movement. Movement from everybody. Too much shit going on. It was too much shit going on. So it's like it wasn't intentional. It wasn't on.
So yeah, he shuts down the rumors, but he does it in the most disrespectful way possible. He's talking like he's doing everyone a favor by setting the record straight, instead of remembering that he's the reason Pop Smoke isn't here today. It's like he's proud to have insider knowledge about a tragedy he caused. No shame, no accountability, just ego. And that's not even the worst part. After doing these interviews, this man starts acting like a celebrity on social media. No lie, he's posting on Instagram, throwing out subliminals, and moving like he's proud of what he did. He's out here acting like being Pop Smoke's killer is some kind of street badge, some kind of weird honor. The level of delusion is insane. But here's what he didn't realize. The streets were watching everything. Every post, every interview, every word that came out of his mouth was being tracked. People were paying attention, saving screenshots, and remembering exactly how he was moving. Because let's be real, when you take out one of New York's own, especially someone like Pop Smoke, you can't just walk around like life's normal. You gotta move carefully, real carefully, because you got eyes on you everywhere. New York doesn't forget, and Brooklyn definitely doesn't. Pop Smoke wasn't just another artist, he was the sound of Brooklyn. He was the energy of the city. From Brownsville to Bed-Stuy, every block felt his music. His songs were more than hits, they were anthems that represented the city's heart. So when this dude started acting like what he did made him famous, it wasn't just reckless, it was straight up suicidal energy in a city that doesn't play about its own. Dior had the whole city doing the woo walk. Welcome to the Party wasn't just a song, it was the heartbeat of every function, every house party, every night when people wanted to feel that Brooklyn energy pumping through the speakers. Pop Smoke brought a vibe that made everyone feel alive. And somehow, this same kid really thought he could sit down on podcasts talking about taking Pop's life like it was nothing. The nerve of that. He even tried to downplay it, saying stuff like, "We was just kids being kids." Man, what? Kids being kids is sneaking out late or getting caught smoking behind school, not running into someone's house and taking a life. You can't call that kids being kids. That's not immaturity. That's a whole different level of wrong. But he kept saying it over and over, trying to make it sound like it was just some dumb mistake, like they didn't know better. That's what really made people mad, because it sounded like he was making excuses instead of owning up.
Had y'all gone on missions like this before?
Next question.
And here's where the story really takes a wild turn. The moment that had everyone in New York talking. Word started spreading fast that Pop Smoke's killer was out here moving reckless. People were seeing his interviews, watching him on social media, noticing how he was just out in public, acting like he didn't have a single care in the world. But here's the thing. New York, and especially Brooklyn, don't forget, ever. They might stay quiet for a while, but trust, they keep score. And apparently, according to multiple sources that stay tapped in, this dude got caught lacking. And when I say lacking, I mean really lacking. He was somewhere he had no business being, probably thinking he was safe just because he did his time, even though everyone knows that wasn't nearly enough. Then the streets pulled up. And look, nobody's out here glorifying violence, but from what's been said by several people who heard the story, he got beat down bad, like a full-blown violation type of beating, the kind that makes you sit and rethink every single choice that led you there. This wasn't no quick scuffle. This was personal. It's being said this was New York sending a message that you can't move reckless, disrespectful.
Not in New York, let me tell you.
Think you're gonna walk around untouched.
Nah.
They waited, they watched, and when the timing was
lucky
right,
he only got
they
beat
caught
up.
him slipping. And
Not
they
that I
made
wish this
sure
kid
he
wrong,
felt
you know what I'm
it.
saying?
Now again,
I don't wish nobody be hurt over anything. I mean, but justice, I don't think justice was served if he didn't get any time for just something that he did for money.
Let's be clear, violence is not the answer. Nobody's saying it should be. But a lot of people looked at what happened and said he brought that on himself because the disrespect was just too much.
Yeah, this guy was so nonchalant. Like, you guys saw it. I let you rock.
You can't take someone's life, serve a light sentence because of your age, and then hop online bragging, doing interviews like it's a joke. The legal system might have gone easy on him, but the streets? Nah, the streets got their own set of rules. Out there, respect means everything. And when you cross that line, when you start disrespecting the dead, you violate the code. And that's something the streets don't ever overlook.
Yeah.
Yo, the story doesn't stop there. It actually gets darker, way darker. And this next part really shows just how deep all of this runs. Remember when we talked about the 5 people arrested in connection to Pop Smoke's murder? One of them was a dude named Jaquan Murphy. He didn't end up getting charged for Pop's case, but right now, he's locked up for another murder. Crazy, right? Well, Jaquan's brother, named JTA Murphy, ended up at the center of one of the most disturbing twists yet. On July 31st, his body was discovered inside a 55-gallon barrel floating in the water near the Pacific Coast Highway Bridge in Malibu. Yeah, you heard that right.
That's
a barrel in the ocean. That's not something you hear about every day, man. It sounds straight out of a crime movie. According to reports, a maintenance worker was the first one to spot it just drifting in the water. At first, he probably thought it was just trash or some random debris, so he tried to pull it in, but it was too heavy for him to move by himself. So he left it there, not realizing what was actually inside. The next day, when the authorities came back to investigate and managed to open it, what they found inside was beyond horrifying. This whole thing left people stunned. The connection, the timing, the way all these names tied back to that same tragic night. It's like the ghosts of that moment just keep coming back to haunt everyone involved. What started as one senseless act years ago has now spiraled into something much darker and much deeper than anyone could have imagined. The next morning, a lifeguard came on duty and spotted that same barrel floating out in the water. He swam out to grab it, probably thinking it was just junk or maybe something that washed up from a storm. But when the authorities finally opened it up, man, what they found inside was horrifying. Inside that 55-gallon barrel was JTA's body, naked, folded up and stuffed inside like he meant nothing. The coroner didn't even hesitate. They ruled it a homicide on the spot. Now here's what makes it even tragic. JTA wasn't just some random person. He was an aspiring rapper himself. He loved music, had dreams of making it big, chasing the same kind of success that Pop once had. It's wild to think about. A young dude with talent, probably growing up listening to the same songs we all did, trying to escape his situation through music, and he ends up found like that, tossed away in a barrel floating off the coast. That's the grim side of how the streets really work.
He backdoored nobody. Let's clear that up. Nobody, I know that 100% for sure. Nobody backdoored nobody. That female, I can't speak too much on it, but her, she don't know what she's talking about.
But hold up. This story gets even darker. According to reports from TMZ and the LA County Sheriff's Department, investigators are actually looking into whether JTA's death was revenge for Pop Smoke's killing. Yeah, they're exploring whether someone connected to Pop, or even just a die-hard fan who felt justice wasn't served, decided to handle things their own way. Let that sink in. It's possible the streets decided to deliver their own brand of justice, and did it in the most brutal way imaginable, stuffed in a barrel, thrown into the ocean, like his life didn't matter at all. That's the type of dark, cold message that's been floating around since Pop Smoke's death. Pure rage, pain, and a thirst for justice that people still feel deep in their bones. See, this whole situation didn't just stir up grief, it stirred up energy, the kind that doesn't fade with time. People are still angry because it felt like Pop never got the justice he deserved. And when the guy who actually pulled the trigger got out and started acting untouchable, bragging on podcasts, showing off on social media, and talking reckless like he was proud, you really think that was gonna slide? You really think nobody was gonna react? The truth is, a lot of folks out there feel like the justice system dropped the ball, that Pop Smoke and his family never got real closure. So the streets, they took that personally, because in
Well, Chad, you already see what it is. It's up to you guys to make up your mind. You know what I'm saying? What is it that you think should have happened? You think this guy got violated and that was wrong? Do you think that maybe everybody's overreacting? You know, like, or is these attacks, alleged attacks that seem to be allegedly in retaliation of Pop Smoke? Do you think that they are valid? Do you think that he has merited this because of the fact that he is a person that is gloating and celebrating his actions rather than being remorseful and apologetic, you know, resentful and moving like a person who is like that? You understand what I'm saying? So chat, drop it in the commentaries. Let me know how you feel about this. You understand? I just wanted to bring this. The Pop Smoke's alleged attacker got caught in New York streets. It got ugly for him. And, you know, I just wanted to bring that to the light. This is absolutely fresh news. This is like 2 days ago, chat. You know what I'm saying? So, in the history, I did have some more about that. Aside from that one. It's over here. I'll show you where. Bum. Single. Here we go.
Imagine being able to build anything.
Now, caught lacking. Around January 25th, 2026,
this is another video by Legacy
everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, every platform you can think of. And this clip showed something that Pop Smoke fans had been waiting 5 years to see. Blockstar, the dude who shot Pop Smoke, walking around with a messed up face. We're talking a black eye that looked like...
Look at his face, bro. This is current.
Somebody put...
Look at his shit.
Serious.
Oh my God. Look at the cookie he got in his face. He got a cookie. This is 1 day ago. The other one I showed you was 2-3 days ago. This was a day ago. He got a giant cookie in his face. Know what I mean? And that's all why. Because your boy here, know what I mean? Your boy here thought that he could walk around New York City and like it wasn't gonna be demon time and shit. Like everything is all good and dandy. Know what I mean? Let's keep watching.
Working on him, bruises everywhere. And the craziest part, he recorded himself right after it happened, went live or something and just showed the world what went down. The video,
like, kind of taunting the fact that nobody, you know, unalived him. Like, I don't think that that's something he should be celebrating.
Video spread like wildfire. Say Cheese posted it, and within hours...
Say Cheese posted it. That's the first. Shouts to Say Cheese.
It had over 4.5 million views, over 17,000 likes, hundreds of comments. Everybody was saying the same thing. Karma finally caught up. The internet immediately started claiming New York goons got to him, that somebody from Pop Smoke's circle, or just somebody from Brooklyn who loved that man, caught him lacking and handled business.
It can happen.
Social media was buzzing with speculation. Comments...
I mean, it's Pop Smoke. It could be anyone.
Like beat him again were everywhere. People asking how is he still alive? Others saying why is his killer walking around when Pop Smoke isn't? Now here's the thing. Nobody can confirm exactly who did this. Some people say it was random LA gang activity. Some people say it had nothing to do with Pop Smoke at all. Posts from rap pages labeled it as rumor, saying rumor has it he got jumped, but that not facts. Them beads definitely got dropped off on him. But you know how the internet works? When you're the guy who killed one of the most loved rappers to come out of Brooklyn in years, and you show up looking like somebody used your face as a punching bag, people are going
nobody
to connect
cares.
those dots.
They should have stomped him to a pulp.
The satisfaction in those comments was real. People felt like this was street justice finally being served.
Yes, it
because
was.
the legal system gave him a slap on the wrist. He was 15 when he killed Pop Smoke. That meant he got tried as a juvenile. His official sentence was 50 years to life, but under California juvenile law, he was only committed to a state facility until age 25. He served about 4 years. years. That's it. 4 years for taking somebody's life. So when people saw him looking beaten up, the reaction was predictable. This wasn't just about one video going viral. This was years of built-up frustration finally having a moment to breathe. Because this is the same dude who got out of jail, and instead of moving in silence, instead of showing any kind of remorse or trying to disappear, decided to go on podcasts and talk about the situation like it was nothing. He did interviews where he basically relived the night he took Pop Smoke's life, and the way he was talking, disrespectful as hell. But before we get into all of that, we need to go back to February 2020, back to that night in the Hollywood Hills, back to how all of this started in the first place. Because if you want to understand why people feel the way they feel about this situation, you need to understand what actually went down. And you need to understand exactly who Blockstar is and how he ended up becoming one of the most hated people in hip-hop. Pop Smoke was 20 years old. He was literally changing the sound of New York hip-hop. He brought Brooklyn drill to the mainstream in a way nobody else could. Songs like Welcome to the Party, Dior, and For the Night weren't just hits. They were anthems that had the whole city moving. Pop had that voice, that deep, gravelly tone that you couldn't mistake for anyone else. He had the presence, the charisma, the star power. Major artists were already lining up to work with him. Travis Scott, Nicki Minaj, Quavo, everybody wanted a piece of what Pop Smoke was bringing to the table. He was only getting started, and the industry knew he was going to be massive. He had just dropped Meet the Woo 2 in February 2020. It debuted at number 7 on the Billboard 200. Dior was playing everywhere. The kid from Brooklyn was on his way to becoming a superstar. He had moved out to LA to work on his career and was staying at an Airbnb in the Hollywood Hills. The day before everything went wrong, Pop Smoke posted something on his Instagram story. He was showing off some gifts from the fashion brand Amiri. Bags, clothes, the usual rapper stuff. But here's where it went left. The shipping label on one of those bags had the address of the Airbnb clearly visible. He didn't blur it out. He didn't cover it up. He just posted it, and somebody was watching that night.
Hello? Hello?
Around 4:30 in the morning on February 19th, 2020, 5 hooded intruders entered the rented home on Hercules Drive. They came in through the second-story balcony. They had masks on, they had hoodies on, and they had guns. There was a woman in the house. They held a gun to her head, threatened to kill her if she didn't cooperate. Then they found Pop Smoke. What happened next depends on who you ask, but here's what we know for sure. Pop Smoke didn't just lay down and let them take his stuff. He confronted them. He fought back. And during that struggle, somebody shot him 3 times in his chest and back. He was pistol whipped too. The people who did this ran off with some jewelry, a diamond-studded Rolex watch, some cash, maybe $3,000 worth of stuff total. They sold that Rolex later for about $2 grand. Think about that for a second. Pop Smoke's life was taken over items that got pawned for less than what most people pay for rent. He got rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Doctors tried to save him. They did emergency surgery, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead that morning, 20 years old. Gone. The investigation took months. LAPD arrested 4 people in July 2020, about 5 months after it happened. 1 adult, 3 juveniles. The adult was a 19-year-old named Corey Walker. The 3 juveniles were 15, 16, and 17 years old. The group had scouted the house earlier, using tools like Zillow and Google. They drove with their headlights off. They communicated during the break-in. This wasn't random. They planned this. Corey Walker was the ringleader. He scouted the home. He researched LAPD response times. He gave one of the younger kids a gun, a Beretta 92 9mm. That younger kid, the 15-year-old, that was Blockstar, real name King Vermont Rascal. And according to what came out in court, according to recordings that were made while he was locked up, he admitted in a 2021 jail recording to firing after Pop Smoke fought back during the robbery. He was the one who pulled the trigger. He was the one who shot Pop Smoke during that struggle. 15 years old, and he killed one of the brightest talents in hip-hop. The legal proceedings dragged on for years. The juveniles were handled in juvenile court. One defendant pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and home invasion robbery in April 2023, sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in a secure youth treatment facility. The 15-year-old shooter admitted first-degree murder, home invasion, robbery, and personally discharging a firearm in May 2023. His official sentence? 50 years to life. Sounds heavy, right? But under California juvenile law, detention is capped at age 25, which means he was out in about 4 years. Corey Walker, the adult who planned the whole thing, just got sentenced in February 2025 to 29 years in state prison. He pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and 2 counts of home invasion robbery. The murder charge was dropped as part of his plea deal. In court, Walker apologized to Pop Smoke's family. He said his actions were unforgivable. He expressed commitment to rehabilitation. He thanked his lawyers for helping him avoid an even harsher sentence. So to recap, Pop Smoke is dead. His shooter served about 4 years. The guy who planned it got 29 years. And the other accomplices got even less time than the shooter. Pop Smoke's family has spoken publicly about how they feel. His mother, Audrey Jackson, has become an advocate against gun violence. She's talked about how this destroyed her family, how no amount of prison time brings her son back. And then Blockstar got out, and instead of staying quiet, he did the exact opposite. The interview. When Blockstar got released from juvenile detention in early 2024, he didn't lay low. He didn't disappear. He showed up at the No Jumper store looking for Adam 22. He wanted to do an interview, and not just any interview. He wanted to get paid for it. Think about that. This dude just got out of jail for killing Pop Smoke, and the first thing he wants to do is monetize the situation. He wanted to turn his infamy into a check. The interview dropped around July 4th or 5th, 2024. It was titled Blockstar on the Murder of Pop Smoke, His Troubled Upbringing and More. Over an hour long, and it broke the internet. The conversation covered his background, growing up in Compton, getting kicked out of schools, moving to LA, getting into gang life with Hoover, his dad being in and out of jail his whole life, having anger issues because of that, getting locked up for the first time at 13 or 14 on an attempted murder charge. But then they got to that night, and this is where it got wild. When Adam 22 asked him about the Pop Smoke situation, Blockstar talked about it like he was discussing what he had for breakfast. No emotion, no remorse, just straight matter-of-fact energy. He said it was a robbery, that nobody sent them there, that all the conspiracy theories were false. Information. He shut down all the talk about somebody setting Pop Smoke up. The rumors about Mike D, Pop Smoke's friend who had posted a picture outside the house. The theories about the girl who was there that night. He said nobody backdoored nobody, that he knew that 100% for sure. He was clearing up the rumors, but in the most disrespectful way possible, talking about the situation like he was doing a service by setting the record straight, not like he was the reason a man is dead. When Adam 22 asked about how they found the address, all the talk about the gift bag with the visible shipping label, Blockstar said he couldn't speak on that part, that he didn't know how the address got found, but he wasn't going to lie to nobody either. Then he admitted something that made people's jaws drop. He said he didn't know who Pop Smoke was.
I didn't know.
Didn't even know he was one of the hottest rappers in the game at that time. He said he probably seen one picture of him before and thought he was a model. He said he thought Pop Smoke had a good modeling career going on. A model. He thought Pop Smoke was a model. When the interviewer asked him straight up if he was the trigger man, Blockstar said 2 words. Next question. That's not a denial. That's basically a confirmation while trying to play it smart legally. He can't admit it on camera because that would be stupid, but he also ain't denying it. He just moved past it like it was an uncomfortable topic at Thanksgiving dinner. When asked if he and his crew had gone on missions like this before, he said the same thing. Next question. Again, not a denial, just dodging. But the implication was clear. This wasn't their first time trying to rob somebody. He talked about the night itself in more detail, said nobody was intended to get hurt, but then contradicted himself by saying there was too much movement going on. Movement from Pop Smoke, movement from everybody in the house. Too much going on. So which is it? Was it an accident, or was there too much movement that forced their hand? Because those are 2 different stories. And the fact that he couldn't keep his story straight while casually discussing taking someone's life is what really got people heated. He admitted he was high that night, said he was off a perk, that he wasn't really fully aware of anything. So he made the decision to go on a robbery mission while high off pills, not even fully aware of what he was doing. And someone ended up dead.
Oh, people be making up whatever the fuck they want to make up. Is that the valid way to just go about life? Like, I can't help it.
And Blockstar said he wasn't sorry about nothing, that it should have never happened, but he ain't sorry, that people die every day.
I ain't sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what you got beat up
every day.
That Pop Smoke was rapping about street life anyway, so he ain't sorry about it. But his condolences
whatever
to
the fuck
family. He sends
to you, bro, that's
condolences,
what happened.
but he's not sorry because in his world, people die every day, and Pop Smoke was rapping about that life. When Adam 22 gave him a chance to speak directly to Pop Smoke's family, Blockstar said he wanted to apologize for his actions that he made as a kid. That there's no excuse, but that's just the way he grew up. That's the way he had to learn to live.
I just want to send my condolences and apologize for my actions that I made.
No.
I was a kid, and that's just, there's no excuse, but that's just the way I grew up. That's the way I had to learn how to live.
He apologized.
Chat, I don't know. I don't know. Do you give him a pass? Do you give him a pass? That's my question. Do you, the viewer, give this guy right here a pass? That's all. Do you give him a pass? Because this, I feel like this is like he's just he's just he's just now going to act like it's okay. You know? Like it's okay. He could walk through any hood now. No, you cannot, bro. No, you cannot. When you show us that interview that you did was the biggest mistake of your life, talking like that, then we're gonna probably consider it. But at this moment, current time, nah, man, fuck this dude. This dude was so disrespectful, and look at Pop Smoke right there. Like, did he deserve this?
Sort of, but also blamed it on his upbringing. Said that's just how he was raised. Growing up, his people, his family told him, you ain't sorry for nothing. Whatever you did it for a reason and stand on it. When Adam22 asked him about people saying he got off too lightly, Blockstar agreed with them. He said they're right, he did get off too light, but that's just how California is. That's the law.
They right, I did get off too lightly.
Yeah, California be like that now.
He agreed. He admitted it. He got off too easy, but he's not complaining. The interview also covered his time in juvenile detention, and honestly, it didn't sound like he had a hard time at all. He talked about having access to phones, wax pens, puff boards. They had a tattoo gun in there. He got caught with over 20 phones over the span of his time locked up. He had a skillet, and they were cooking every day. TVs, PS4. They were smoking in the middle of the day room. He said it was basically like being out, just being around a whole bunch of dudes. Remember that pizza photo that went viral? The one that had people furious because it looked like he was living his best life in jail? Blockstar confirmed that was real. He said every situation he was in, he made the best of it. He was regular, had pizza.
Guess what? You guys thought that he was acting like he was living his best life? Guess what, chat? He was living his best life, and there was nothing that we could do about it. You know that? Nothing.
Burgers, tacos, everything. He made the best of it. While Pop Smoke's family was grieving, while his friends were trying to figure out how to move forward without him, while his fans were playing his music and crying, Blockstar was eating pizza and playing video games. The reaction to this interview was immediate and intense. Pop Smoke's mother publicly called it tasteless and exploitative. She said it was disrespectful to give her son's killer a platform. DJ Academics went at Adam22 for doing the interview. A lot of people in the hip-hop community were disgusted, but Adam22 defended his decision. He said it was creating an important historical record of what happened. He said he personally respected Pop Smoke and his music, but he felt like the story needed to be told from all sides. The barrel. But here's where this story gets even darker. And this is the part that really shows you how deep this all goes. Remember, 5 people got arrested in connection to Pop Smoke's murder. One of them was a dude named Jaquan Murphy. He didn't get charged in Pop's case ultimately, but he's currently locked up for an unrelated murder. Real stand-up guy, right? Well, Jaquan has a brother named Javonta Murphy, and this is where things get absolutely horrific. On July 31st, Javonta's body was found in a 55-gallon barrel floating in the water near the Pacific Coast Highway Bridge in Malibu. Yeah, you heard that right. A barrel in the ocean. The story is crazy. A maintenance worker spotted the barrel first, just floating there in the water. He tried to drag it to shore, but it was too heavy for him to move by himself, so he just left it there. Probably thought it was just trash or something. The next morning, a lifeguard came on duty, saw the barrel, swam out to retrieve it. When authorities finally opened it up, they found Javonta's naked body inside, stuffed in there like he was nothing. The coroner ruled it a homicide immediately. Javonta was an aspiring rapper himself. Dude loved music, had dreams of making it big, probably grew up listening to hip-hop, dreaming about making it out of the situation,
grew up
and he
listening
ended
to
up
Pop
dead
Smoke.
in a barrel in the ocean.
And
Here's the really
died.
crazy part. According to
Because he
TMZ
killed
and the LA
Pop
County
Smoke.
Sheriff's Department, they're investigating whether Javonta's murder was revenge for Pop Smoke's killing. They're exploring whether someone connected to Pop or just someone who loved Pop's music and felt like justice wasn't served, decided to take matters into their own hands. Let that sink in for a minute. The streets might have taken out someone connected to Pop's murder in the most brutal way possible, stuffed in a barrel and thrown in the ocean like he was trash. That's the type of energy that's been circulating since Pop died. That's the level of anger and need for justice that people feel. And when the kid who actually pulled the trigger starts doing podcast tours and talking reckless, when he's on,
gave
social
everybody
media
a
moving
reason.
like he's
He just-
untouchable.
just
You
let
think people
everybody
are
know
just
where
gonna
he's
let
at.
that slide? The streets operate on a different code than the legal system. The courts might have given him juvenile treatment because of his age, but the streets don't care about that. The streets care about respect,
well, they just-
about
well,
honor,
they found the
about
other
not
guy.
disrespecting the dead. And and he violated all of that. After doing the no jumper interview, Blockstar
Just think about where they found the other guy. In a barrel. In the ocean. The other guy who helped him. And this guy's doing a tour. Are you understanding what's going on here?
started moving on social media like he was some kind of celebrity, posting on IG, making subliminal references, moving like he was proud of what he did, acting like being Pop Smoke's killer was some kind of badge of honor. The streets was watching all of this, taking notes, every post, every interview, every time he opened his mouth. It was all being cataloged. Because when you're from New York and you take out one of New York's own, you better move carefully. You better move like you got enemies on every corner, because you probably do. Pop Smoke wasn't just some random rapper. He was Brooklyn through and through. He had the whole city behind him. His music was anthems in every hood from Brownsville to Bed-Stuy. Dior had everyone doing the woo walk. Welcome to the Party was the soundtrack to every function. And this kid really thought he could just talk about killing Pop like it was nothing. He really thought he could be on podcasts, breaking down the details.
Picked a great name, but your voice doesn't quite match it.
We have a fix.
All I can say, Chad, is if nobody knew where to find this guy, his little podcast tour has just put a big giant target on him. He has made himself so available to the public that it's not even funny. He is wildin' for the night.
That excuse is murder. Kids being kids is sneaking out the house.
Yeah.
Kids being kids is getting caught smoking weed behind the school.
Kids being kids is kissing
not
a girl,
committing home
but not
invasions and taking someone's
fucking
life. There was also
bodying
drama with people from New York reaching out to him and his associates. Blockstar's twin got into it with somebody named Raleigh from New York who was trying to get answers about the Pop Smoke situation. Raleigh was hitting them up consistently, texting, saying New York deserved an explanation. Blockstar's people told them they didn't owe New York anything. They said they had real problems to deal with in LA. They said they weren't worried about anybody from across the country. They got enemies next door to them. Somebody across a whole other state isn't their concern. When Adam22 asked Blockstar if he would go to New York, he said, yeah, he would go. He wasn't trying to piss anybody off, but if they come, he comes. He also talked about his probation officer being worried about his safety. Somebody posted his address in the comments somewhere. His PO sent him a screenshot of a comment saying, we got his location. The PO wanted to take him back to jail for his own protection, but Blockstar wasn't having it. He talked about cutting off his ankle monitor too. Said he had been on house arrest for a violation. Did his 30 days. Then they tried to extend it for another 67 days. And when the social media attention started picking up again, when he realized the courts were getting nervous about his safety, he decided to cut it off himself. He said he wasn't going to let them lock him up for his own safety. He said he wasn't scared.
Yeah, so he's running around without no ankle monitor. That's crazy now. That is a crazy thing, huh? No ankle monitor. God bless that kid.
He wasn't going to PC up because the internet was making threats.
Brave.
The legacy. To really understand why this matters so much, you need to understand who Pop Smoke was and what he meant to people. Bashar Baraka Jackson was born on July 20th, 1999 in Brooklyn, New York.
And let's not forget his last name is Jackson, like Curtis Jackson. Yeah, exactly. 50 Cent.
Canarsie, to be specific. He grew up around that street life. He was affiliated with the Crips, but he was also
Just know that's 50's cousin, bro.
so talented, really talented. He pioneered Brooklyn drill music, that sound that blends UK drill influences with that raw New York energy, that deep voice, those heavy bass lines, that aggressive delivery. That was Pop Smoke. His first mixtape, Meet the Woo, dropped in July 2019. It had Welcome to the Party on it. That song changed everything. It got remixed by Nicki Minaj. It got remixed by Skepta. It put Brooklyn drill on the map in a way that nothing else had before. Then, in February 2020, just weeks before he died, he dropped Meet the Woo 2. It debuted at number 7 on the Billboard 200. It had Dior on it. It had Shake the Room with Quavo. It had War with Lil TJ.
That's one album I can play.
Pop Smoke was
No
everywhere.
skipping,
He
no
was on the
skipping.
radio. He was in the clubs. He was at Fashion Week. He had deals with major brands. He was about to take over. In one of his final interviews, Pop Smoke talked about what it meant to be a target. He said, any that's coming up from the city, that's doing good, that's doing what I'm doing right now, is going to get targeted. He knew the risks. He talked about not staying in one place too long. He said, if you stay somewhere too long, something's gonna happen. You're not supposed to stay in one place forever, not even home. And then he stayed at that Airbnb and he posted the address, and somebody was watching. In another interview on the Angie Martinez show, he gave a message to young people coming up from similar backgrounds. He said, us coming from where we come from, we can't afford to fuck up. We can't afford to slip up, make no mistakes, because they watching and they want us to. That interview resurfaces every year around the anniversary of his death because it's chilling. He was talking about the exact situation that ended up killing him just weeks later. After Pop Smoke died, his team kept his legacy going. They finished the album he was working on. Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon dropped in July 2020. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. Every single track on that album charted on the Hot 100, all 19 of them. For the Night with Lil Baby and DaBaby went to #6. What You Know About Love went to number.
Chad, that is just so crazy, man. That we have to appreciate people after they're gone. Like, it shouldn't be that way, Chad. We should be able to. Artists should never be in the line of danger like that. Like, that's so crazy, man. That why would you want to take the life of an artist? And I always found that weird when I heard that they killed John Lennon. Which one is it? John Lennon, the Beatles guy, right? When they killed him, like I was too young for that. So I wasn't around for it. But when I heard about how he died, I always asked myself, like, why would somebody want to fucking shoot the Beatles guy, right? But now that I see what happened to Pop Smoke, and it happens in my genre and my shit, and in my area of expertise, it kind of it puts you, it gives you this understanding. You know what I'm saying? It gives you the understanding that some people just they want to be part of history so bad that they're willing to like take somebody famous out so they could be the famous person. And that right there, that's a horrible recipe for disaster. Like, why would you want to unalive a person with the hope of being famous off of that? Or why would you go do a home invasion and then know that somebody could lose their life? Like, then why would you do that home invasion? That, like, I don't know, Chad. I've never been around people who glorify this, so I never got it. You feel me? But guys, drop a comment in the description. Let me know what you think about this. Tell me what you think about Pop Smoke's one of the Pop Smoke people involved in it. How do you feel about him walking around? How do you feel about him being hurt? How do you feel about him getting beat up? Drop it in the comment box. Let us know. And if you like videos like this, then you're going to see some more videos pop up in the screen. Click on those. I guarantee you that you're going to enjoy it. You already know it's your boy King Buddha, your boy Chi from the Chi Challenge. Shouts to everybody you already know. And we're out of here. Peace. And we're out.
It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. King Buddha, it's never too late to awake you. King Buddha, it's never too late for mistake to. King Buddha, it's never too late to awake you. King Buddha, it's never too late for mistake to. King Buddha, shut up or shut up. King Buddha, shut up or shut up. Fuck.